And Andrew's Polish-American following is hugely in evidence here in the arena tonight. Once again, as has always been the case when we cover him, there are red and white flags, red and white costumes all over the arena in tribute to his Polish, now Polish-American heritage.
You know, another explanation, reading between the lines, for his inability to take a late substitute in a professional way the other night was that he really came here expecting to put on a show, to look great against a fighter who seemed designed to help him look great, Thunder, and that he was distraught that he would fight somebody he hadn't prepared for and who might be hard to look good against.
Well, and there are no shortage of critics, Roy Jones, who believe that Ferguson is a likely tougher opponent than Thunder would have been.
Yeah, because Ferguson has been known as being an upset king in the sport of boxing. You know that yourself.
So here's a look at Golota and a closer look at his background.
You see that 10 years ago he was a bronze medalist in the Olympics. He's lost only to champions, 4-0 in his comeback.
And across the ring, the boogeyman, who's had 17 losses, 7 of them by knockout. Jesse has been knocked out by some of the biggest punchers in the heavyweight division, including Riddick Bowe and Mike Tyson years ago. He's fought a total of 10 heavyweights who held titles.
Well, he was stopped by Bowe in his only title fight. Fought 10 other heavyweights who had held titles one time or another. Beat Buster Douglas 13 years ago. Also beat Ray Mercer in a famous upset. And for a couple of years, he took off from competitive boxing to spar with Mike Tyson, and that proved profitable for him.
He says he got the call a couple of days ago for this fight. He was in gym shape. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's in fighting shape. Tail of the tape between Golota and Ferguson, and Jesse weighed in at 238, well, 239, a pound over Golota. Were he in fighting shape, he might have been just a few pounds south of there. You see the 10-year age advantage for Golota and the 6-inch reach advantage. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Lederman.
Andrew Golota and Jesse Ferguson will fight tonight under the rules of the New Jersey Athletic Control Board. And it is the case, you know, and this is the case with any Andrew Golota fight. We must quickly point out that there is no rule concerning how many warnings referee Joe Cortez must give before he deducts a point. But if you get hit by a low blow and you get hurt, you have to continue after a reasonable amount of time, up to 5 minutes, or you lose. Jim.
Let's go up to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the pre-fight introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, by way of Bally's Park Place here in Atlantic City, New Jersey, welcome to heavyweight boxing, brought to you by Main Events in association with your undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser. This Bud's for you. This first bout is presented in association with Ziggy Promotions. It is sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board, Boxing Commissioner Larry Hazard Sr. Timekeeper at the bell for this contest is Roosevelt Gilbert. The 3 judges scoring this bout at ringside on a 10-point must system will be John Ponteray, Hilton Whitaker, and Gene Williams. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Joe Cortez. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 10 rounds of boxing in the heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trimmed with white, he weighs 239 pounds. His professional record, 43 bouts, 26 victories, 16 by knockout with 17 losses. From Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, here is the veteran heavyweight, Jesse Boogeyman Ferguson. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white, trimmed with red. He weighs 238 pounds. His professional record, 32 victories with 27 knockouts to his credit. Only 3 defeats. Presenting the 7th-ranked heavyweight in the world from Warsaw, Poland, Andrew Golota.
right, gentlemen. Andrew, we're going to lose in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. I expect good sportsmanlike conduct from both of you. You understood? Cup here is a little high. Here is good. It's a little high. We got it. All right? Shake hands. Give me good sportsmanlike conduct. Touch them up. Okay.
If you can fight and you're ready to fight, Jesse Ferguson is a good opponent. If you can't fight or you're not ready to fight, he's the wrong opponent.
Interesting harbinger of something later to come tonight. You saw Joe Cortez talking to Jesse the Boogeyman about the height of his protective cup. And that's a subject for Grant's opponent, Ahmad Abdin, who believes that Michael Grant gets an unfair advantage at wearing that up around his chest in most fights.
Jesse's coming out right now to let Golota know that he's in a fight, maybe try to hurt him. Maybe his only chance.
Yeah, he may not be in shape to go a full 10 rounds tonight, being that he took the fight on such a short notice.
Ferguson says he had an inkling weeks ago that something might happen to Thunder, and that as he trained in the gym for the past couple of weeks, he was keeping in the back of his mind the possibility of stepping up into this opportunity.
I'm sure he's had these opportunities to come at him several times before like this, so he knows that if he stays in shape, that he may get an opportunity, and if he does, he wants to be there to answer.
And he's respected by matchmakers despite his 17 losses as a professional who will give you an effort. This despite the fact that many believe he did not make an effort in his 2-round knockout loss to Riddick Bowe when he had a big chance to fight for the heavyweight title.
Well, that was different circumstances. It's like the Boogeyman likes to come out at night, but a bright light got shined on him all of a sudden when he came out to fight Riddick Bowe. So it kind of put him in shock.
Yeah, and Riddick Bowe was a hell of a fighter at that time.
It was the second of Bowe's title defenses after he first took the title from Evander Holyfield in November of '92. First he fought against Michael Dokes in Madison Square Garden, and then Ferguson in Washington, D.C. Now Golota throwing right hands over the top. In his victory over Tim Witherspoon a few months ago, Golota fought a remarkably controlled boxer-like performance. And when Golota gets his jab going, there aren't too many heavyweights who can do anything about it. When he gets the rhythm on his jab, he's very tough to contend with.
Yeah, he is, and mainly because he has such a big frame. He's a big heavyweight. He's not a little guy. Once he gets those long arms to work, it's hard for the shorter guys to catch up with him.
He's hurting Jesse right here. He's throwing some heavy shots, complete control, good short, hard shots from Golota.
Ferguson may not get the kinds of opportunities he hoped for sneaking in here at the last minute. Golota off to a good start in round one with the jab, the right over the top, and the occasional left hook. The one punch he's never really learned to throw well is an uppercut.
The left hook seems to hurt Golota every time he throws. I mean, hurt the Boogeyman every time he gets hit.
The second time he staggered Ferguson in the round. This is a big, big round for Golota. A 2-point round.
And Golota keeping the pressure on down the stretch of the round. Ferguson seemed to expect him to back off at some point, but Andrew never did.
You heard him in the box real good, all right? His jab, start looking for that jab to hook the spot. Right hand, hook the body, hook the understand? You're doing good. And the other thing is, keep your left hand up. He's always throwing his overhand right. I don't want you on the ropes. Stay off of the ropes. All right?
Don't wait on this guy. You let him get brave. Don't let him get brave.
Andrew Golota seems to have emerged from his crying jag and the fetal position very, very well. A very strong first round. He's ready to fight.
Target practice. Golota throwing 97 punches in round one. Heavyweight average is about 50 to 55. Golota has been active when he's on the beam in the past, but never at that level. 97 punches in round 1, 51 connected by Andrew Golota.
I also think he might be a little bit quicker at this weight, down around 238, than he was up in the mid-240s.
Oh, that was a good hook.
Roy was talking about Golota's big frame, and just to emphasize the point, Roy, it's not just that he's big. He's an athlete. He's quick. He has good foot movement. He's probably as gifted an athlete as any of the top big heavyweights, including Grant.
Yes, he is. And you don't see much fat on his body.
He's got a bloody nose, incidentally, so Jesse did hit him.
Yep.
But one thing I notice here, he hasn't thrown a body punch that I can recall.
Well, maybe that's their insurance against the low blows. You'll recall in the middle rounds of Bo Golota 2, Lou Duva yelling at him, don't throw a single punch to the body. But they couldn't stop him from delivering the low blows.
Pressure and fatigue will make you do things you don't want to do.
Almost launched an uppercut there, pulled it back. Ferguson, a considerably sneakier and more flexible fighter than Jimmy Thunder. Thunder's essentially a one-note tune who comes in, goes straight forward, and hopes that his power will deliver something big for him. Jesse has many more tricks than that. And perhaps that's one of the reasons that Golota felt disrespected by the last-minute change of opponents.
There was Golota's second low blow, according to the referee. There was one a little earlier in the round.
And look for Ferguson to maximize the drama in every one of them. Certainly one of the things that Jesse would have thought of coming in tonight is, can he get under Golota's skin somehow?
Okay, you can't win a fight on a low blow. Okay, you walk around, you got a little rest. Don't hit him back, or then you'll start taking points for you. Don't be starting to retaliate.
Harold Letterman, quickly the rule.
Jim, he's got up to 5 minutes, Jesse Ferguson. He can't win. If he doesn't continue, he loses by abandonment. He has to continue.
I don't know. If I was Jesse, I might try one along the border someplace. Just to see if I can get him upset.
He just told the referee, I'm going to hit him back. The referee said, don't you do that.
I'll take a point from you. So what?
I would have never said anything to the ref about it.
Hard left hook lands again. That was a terrific left hook inside by Golota. Ferguson reeled backward, but now Jesse keeps coming forward again.
My guess is we're not going to see too many more body punches from Golota. He doesn't need them in this fight.
A low blow by Ferguson there, but it didn't really connect.
Just you waiting on one shot, man. You gotta use your left hand now. Right? Go to work with your jab, you know? They're gonna nick that.
They are not. Go nick that. I'm gonna nick. Where? Right here. Come on. Oh, okay. Give me that.
Take a look at the more obvious of the two low blows that Golota landed in that fight. One thing I noticed there, Roy, was he did dip his shoulder and try to throw that punch correctly.
No more body shots. No more body shots.
That's not the way it wound up.
Just keep it.
Hit him right there.
And you see the lopsided punch set numbers through round number 2.
Keep hitting him with the jab.
Golota has a scar on the back of his head that I believe is from the cell phone with which he was attacked in the riot back on July 11, 1996. Round 3 of the scheduled 10. Second fight tonight is scheduled for 12 rounds. Grant against Abdeen.
please. Head back. Head back. Head back.
I can't say that I've seen Golota show this much poise in a long time. He seems to be well under control of everything he's doing.
Similar to the control he showed in his route-going performance against Witherspoon in Warsaw, October 2. Hard right hand lands for Golota. Ferguson backing up. Andrew trying here to join Carl Williams, Mike Tyson, Bruce Seldon, Riddick Bowe, Frank Bruno, Jeremy Williams, and Donnell Nicholson among heavyweights to have knocked Jesse Ferguson out. Almost all of them pretty good punchers. Jesse with swelling mark around the right eye, where some of the left hooks have done damage.
Ferguson's last fight was an upset of Obed Sullivan, once a top 10 fighter. So he's come into this fight saying, I'm just maturing as a fighter. But right now, Golota's knocking the maturity right out of him, to say nothing of other things.
You know, some nights, the guys that come to the fights, the older guys, you never know when they're going to come there and start to really look their age. And tonight, Jesse is sort of looking his age.
41, although he thinks that at 41, he's a better fighter than he was 15 years ago.
No, look at it. Look at it.
He could be a better thinking fighter than he was 15 years ago.
Got a relatively late start in his professional career. Had a pitched battle with Carl the Truth Williams, and Williams knocked him out late. Off his performance there, Jesse got a chance to be the opponent in February 1986 against a very young heavyweight prospect named Mike Tyson. And a lot of people will remember that Tyson fight. It was his network television debut on ABC, and it was the fight after which he said, I was trying to drive his nose bone into his brain, describing the intention of his uppercut punch. Still to come tonight, Michael Grant will try to drive Ahmad Abdin's nose bone into his brain, or something similar, as he takes on his former sparring partner. Grant's return to the ring after several months of layoff and a hepatitis A infection.
Huh? They want your neck?
Yes. Yes. Keep your feet right? Get set. You understand me? Let's get off of them combinations now. Find your range. Okay. Huh? Pop the jam. Pop the jam. Find your range. Keep your feet right.
On that jab, when he drops the head down, uppercut up under the chin. Okay? Forget about the body. Left uppercut. Double jab, left uppercut under the chin.
Let's go. Let's go, Lou. Let's clean up corner. Let's go, Lou.
Jesse the Boogeyman Ferguson heaving just a little bit as he comes out for round 4 against Andrew Golota. Golota set the pace with a sizzling round 1, throwing 97 punches, and hasn't much let up since then. Harold Letterman, how do you have it through 3?
You know, Jim, I don't know what he was crying about. I think he looks like $1 million. 3-0, 30-27, Andrew Golota. I tell you, Jim, if you told me that any of these judges had all 10-8 rounds, I'd agree with him. I mean, Andrew Golota is very, very close to a 10-8 round in all 3 rounds. Totally dominating the fight. Looks like $1 million.
Keep on, Jesse.
Contingent in the upper deck, just craving the moment when they can break out the flags and start chanting again. It's a little dull for that right now. Most of them still on their feet as they watch their man. A lot of people just wrote Golota off after after the Lewis experience, figuring that if he had not been psychologically broken by all of his self-destructiveness before that, surely this would be the straw that breaks the camel's back. He took, as Larry has pointed out, took a lidocaine shot just hours before coming to the arena to fight against Lewis, arrived an hour and a half late, didn't adequately warm up. He says that he felt as though he was in a daze walking into the ring that night.
It wasn't just an alibi, the normal prize fight alibi either, Jim, because if you recall, after the fight he suffered a seizure, was taken out on a stretcher, and that's when they found the connection between the drug he had taken and the knockout. He took so many big, good punches from Riddick Bowe. I'm a little hesitant to say that this is a guy with a bad jaw.
I wouldn't say he was a guy with a bad jaw, but Lennox is a guy with a good punch.
Big punch.
Yeah.
And to the degree that a fighter freezes in a situation like that, Golota froze.
Well, he was unprofessional in taking that shot. Neither Lou Duva nor anyone else in the corner or his handlers knew about it. It was something he had arranged privately, resulting in a $23 million lawsuit, I understand, against the doctor who administered it.
Round 4 coming to a close. Jesse Ferguson taking a solid beating from Andrew Golota, but standing his ground.
All right, good round. Good round. Now, that was good. You changed speeds on him. I want you to change speeds on him a little bit in this round.
No. Okay.
Calm down. Listen to what I'm saying. That was a good round. You changed speeds up. When you change speeds on him, you hurt him. But I don't want you standing right directly in front of him trying to trade power punches. I want you stepping around him. This round.
You behind, man.
Come on, we got to. Come on, get a rinse. Hurry up. Come on. Come on, just we can get this guy now, man. You're waiting too long, man.
Come on, man.
All right. Come on. Hey.
Come on, let's do it, man. You're blowing it.
Come on, man.
This guy's ready to go.
Sit down.
Right now, the only question appears to be whether Golota can finish Ferguson in style.
Hold time. Come on, guys. All right, time in. Let's go.
Momentary delay while Cortez waited for Lou Duva and Ronnie Shields to exit the ring in Golota's corner.
You always have to wonder in a fight like this, will Golota get bored and get caught with a big punch too, though?
Well, or will he get disqualified? You have to regard it as at least a possibility in every one of his fights. Even prior to his self-destruction against Bowe in July of '96, when he was winning the fight easily and was disqualified on low blows the first time, even prior to that, he had purposely head-butted Donnell Nicholson in a fight that he was winning easily. He had purposely bitten Samson Pauha on the shoulder in a fight that he was winning easily. So this guy can go off at any moment, and it doesn't matter whether he's winning or losing.
Yeah, but he seems to be showing a lot more control tonight than he did in those fights in the early rounds. I think and I hope he learned his lesson. And I don't think we'll be seeing any more of that from Andrew.
Golota's wife is a Polish-born, American practicing attorney, and she is clearly the common sense conduit through which his handlers and the people around him try to communicate and hope to establish some solid ground. In our meetings with Golota, the norm is that he begins the answer to each question, and then either Lou Duva or his wife finishes the answer for him. Ferguson appears intent on just hanging around and seeing what strange things are going to happen.
Yeah, he doesn't even seem to have much steam on his punches now.
Jesse trying to step around to land a left hook to the body, but doing so almost in slow motion.
pretty good hook by the boogeyman.
And there's some life. Doubling up on the left hook.
He just can't seem to get out of the way of Andrew's straight right lead.
When Andrew steps up and begins pumping his jab and working behind it, Ferguson can't throw. So it's jab, jab, right hand, or jab, left hook.
And the right hand lands every time.
Golota landed a punch just after the bell. Ferguson reached around the referee to retaliate. The referee is taking a point away from him.
So Ferguson is the first to be penalized in the fight. There have been warnings to Golota for low blows, but it's Jesse who takes the first point penalty.
Make this fight easy. Make it easy. Step around him now. Use your legs this right. He's tired. Make him come to you.
That wasn't that late of a punch. Obviously, it was thrown just at or a millisecond before the bell rang.
Yes, and it could be that Ferguson is anxious to capitalize on any opportunity to create havoc in the ring and get Golota outside of his envelope.
Well, he's probably a little frustrated right now. Nothing seems to be going his way. And sometimes when a guy gets to this point in a fight, it's easy for anything to make him go off.
Ferguson landed 19 punches in round number 5. That's by far his best round in the bout, but Golota landed 31 of 68. So Andrew continues to dominate, both in terms of CompuBox numbers and the subjective impression of what we're seeing in the ring. And Ferguson continues to hang in, hoping to be the beneficiary of something strange.
Yeah, because his power punches don't seem to hurt Andrew at all.
Jesse trying to duck the right hand, and Golota still landing with constant accuracy there, as in that right hand.
Is Jesse looking to set him up for something, Roy?
Jesse's looking for one punch to try to hurt Golota, but I don't really think his punching power is the same as it usually is. I don't think he truly can hurt Golota with a power punch right now.
I think there's a cut over Ferguson's left eye. That'll mean that cutman Willie Folk will have to go to work to help keep him in the fight.
And I think it came from that overhand right.
That would make sense, yeah. I think that cut is below the eyebrow. Makes it a tough place for cutman Willie Folk to do his job.
Ferguson is taking a real beating here.
Chopping right hand by Golota.
Now, one of the things I was curious about was whether Golota, in his eagerness to be more controlled and measured, would lose his aggression. But he's showing here, at least against Jesse Ferguson, that he has a good balance between boxing him and aggressing him.
And he's still defending himself very well.
So if he worried that he wasn't going to be able to look good against Ferguson, so far that concern appears unfounded. Both of our experts impressed with what they see of Golota here. When last Jesse Ferguson fought on this network against Samson Pouha, I mistakenly identified his cutman as Leon Tabb because that was the information I'd been given. Leon wasn't there that night. Willie Folk was. And Willie Folk is here again tonight.
Didn't he fight against...
This month on Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel, we'll investigate offshore gambling operations which take in hundreds of millions of dollars in illegal sports bets. and we'll look at the grueling and often frustrating life of an NFL assistant coach. If you missed the premiere this week, you can catch it January 31 and then again on February 4, Real Sports with Brian Gumbel.
Of course not. All right. You okay, Jesse? Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm here to protect you from taking out serious punishment. That's my job in here.
Close your mouth. Yes.
What about this on?
Jesse, you're not working hard enough, Jesse, and you're not keeping your feet right. That's what's making you look bad. You understand? Keep your feet right and work off the jab. And shake your back.
My recollection, Jim, is that Jesse also went the distance against Hasim Rahman, if you recall.
Yeah.
A difficult, grueling fight.
Won by Rahman.
Won easily by Rahman. And, you know, this fight, you know, as far as anything we can tell, barring the unforeseen, which you never can fully bar with Golota, is really over. I mean, it has been for several rounds, almost from the start. Golota is simply outclassing him. The only question here is whether he can go out in style.
Chopping right hand again lands for Golota, up behind Ferguson's left ear. It was fascinating between rounds to hear trainer Roman Fuller asking Jesse to just set his feet in the right position, work behind the jab. I don't think I've seen him make a legitimate effort to land a jab against Golota yet in the fight.
No, but Golota's making him keep that left hand at home to defend himself.
Ferguson has fired some left hooks, generally in retaliation after Golota has landed a combination. Golota flirting with body punches again there. And Ferguson comes upstairs and lands a right hand. Certainly Golota unruffled when Ferguson lands a punch. And remember that Jesse got the notice 2 days ago and accepted the opportunity to fight despite the fact he was in gym shape, not really fighting shape.
As this fight goes on, it looks more and more like Golota is a big four-wheel drive sport vehicle, and Jesse a very used car.
Cortez again warning Golota for blows to Ferguson's hip, but no point deduction. Again, the only point deduction in the bout so far against Ferguson for attempting to hit after the bell.
Bring the cup is up too high. What's up? Come on, let's go.
Basis of what we see so far, Golota has earned another look against a higher quality opponent.
I agree with that.
A lot of distance across the top of the right hand. Joe Cortez, well aware that Ferguson wants to create havoc in there, just flings Jesse out of the way. Larry, here's a look at Golota against Tim Witherspoon back in October.
Yeah, and he fought a very similar fight against a more dangerous, higher level opponent who was also at the end of his career dominated Witherspoon. Witherspoon looking to land a big right hand in the fight, never did anything substantive.
All right, let's see a little more movement to the left. The overhand right has killed him. Sometimes come back. No body shot. Forget about it. You don't need it. Uppercut. Jab right, uppercut. Overhand right. Left uppercut. Jab, overhand right, left uppercut. Anything.
All right, check this out. Yeah, pick it up now, Jesse. You only throwing 1 or 2 punches.
Through 7 rounds so far by CompuBox numbers, Golota has has doubled Ferguson in punch output, 533 to 266, and more than tripled him in connections. Golota landing 264 punches, only 83 for Ferguson. Jabs, forget it. Golota 106 out of 226. So it's a CompuBox wipeout with Andrew Golota easily beating Jesse Ferguson going into the 8th. Harold Letterman, how do you have it through 7?
I got it a shutout, Jim. 70 to 62. Andrew Golota, 7 rounds to nothing. Jim, 2 things I want to point out to you. Number 1, even though the punch came after the bell, ending the 5th round, and the 5th round was over, the point comes off of Jesse Ferguson's score for the 5th round, not the 6th. So Joe Cortez took that point at the end of the 5th. It comes off Ferguson's score for the 5th round. And the second thing is I always talk about ring generalship. Watch the way Andrew Golota steps to his right hand to stay away from Jesse Ferguson, to step to his right to stay away from Jesse Ferguson's big right hand. That's good ring generalship. You got to give Golota credit for that.
Golota's been mentioned by some people as a possible opponent for Mike Tyson as Tyson tries to make his way back toward prominence in the division. Off what you see tonight, do you think Tyson's people would consider putting Mike in with Golota?
It's a good question. What the wags were saying was that if Golota looked too good, he would never get the fight because Tyson's handlers are not that interested in putting him in with a good fighter yet, or a dangerous fighter, or a highly skilled one. I'm not sure what they think. He certainly is more dangerous than a lot of the other opponents I've heard as possibles for Tyson.
Does he look as good to you, Roy, as he looked in 1996 when he was dominating Riddick Bowe at close range?
He looks even better to me because he has to do 2 things here. He has to remain in control of what he's doing, but he also has to move around the boogeyman to make sure that the boogeyman does not catch him with a big shot to upset him or to make him lose his cool. So he's showing more poise here than he ever showed before, and he's looking good because he's not walking straight in on the boogeyman. He's going to the left, he's going to the right, and he's changing his attack.
And 3 more effective combinations for Golota as Roy was making the point. So you see a man under control, using his multiplicity of formidable skills, closing in on a possible wear-him-down knockout of Jesse Ferguson. And you wonder, where does Golota go from here, and who will take the risk of giving him a chance?
You think he could show this kind of poise against a better quality fighter who put some real heat on?
That's why we have fights, so we can see.
It's a fascinating question. It always has been with this man. Still to come tonight, Ahmad Abdin came to this country at 15 years old. His family owns a tow truck service in Houston, and as the result of his purse tonight, their 40-truck fleet will become 42 sometime next week.
And they hope they don't have to take him away behind one of those tow trucks tonight.
Though the possibility certainly exists.
Keep boxing. Hey,
I did the same thing to him over there too.
Connect percentages impressive throughout the fight for Golota, and the 8th round was his best
He's
round.
trying to make you mad. He's trying to hit you below the belt.
Snap that jab, baby. And stand in front of him. You can hit this guy with right hands. You can leave with right hand. You come right back with left hook. He's dropping everything over there. Comes in. You got it. Find your range. You understand the range? Don't get it. Come on, Lou. Oh, time. Okay, time in.
Sweat being wiped up in both corners, even as the action begins in center ring. Ferguson's face a mask of pain now as Golota has drawn blood and puffed up Jesse around both eyes.
Well, Jesse's an old Marine, spent 4 years in the Marines, hasn't landed a lot here, but he's a warrior.
And I'm pretty sure he'll do all that he can to make sure he's here at the end.
Jesse Ferguson from the eastern North Carolina tobacco town of Knightdale against Andrew Golota of Warsaw.
And Chicago.
That's correct. Ferguson with a double left. And Golota shakes his head as if to say, you didn't hurt me, but it was one of Jesse's better moments in the whole fight.
When a fighter says you didn't hurt me, chances are he hurt you.
Sometimes that's true. Sometimes
You ever do
not.
that, Roy? You ever get your bell rung and immediately look at the other guy and shake your head like, no, no?
No, I don't do that.
Never done it.
If my bell gets rung, you can believe that you will know my bell got rung.
Well, the knockdown against Duval was a flash knockdown. Who's the last guy to really hurt you in the ring?
I don't know. It's been so long. I think I've been hurt more by punches that miss me than I have by the ones that connect.
Well, or as director Mark Payton points out from the truck, some of those judges in Seoul hurt you pretty badly.
Yeah, they hurt me real bad.
Same Olympics where Andrew Golota won a bronze medal in the heavyweight division.
Did you see him fight over there, Roy?
No, I never got a chance to see Andrew fight. I probably wouldn't have known who he was anyway.
Well, he weighed about 30 pounds, 35 pounds less at that time.
Yes, and remember in the Olympics, the big class is super heavyweight. So if you're a heavyweight, you're somewhere just below that. I believe the heavyweight limit is 201.
Yep.
Right, but Ray Mercer, I believe, won that gold medal.
He won the heavyweight gold medal, and Riddick Bowe won the...
No.
Riddick Bowe got a silver.
I said won the silver medal in the super heavyweight division.
That's
Lennox
right.
Lewis won the gold medal.
That's right.
We're vamping here, folks, because this fight seems to have an ordained finish.
That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. What you were doing at the end of that round. Listen, it's the last round. I want you to start off, use the jab, walking around, and then I want you to work that left hand overtime. You understand, Doc?
It's the last round.
You say one thing and you go out and do something else.
Touch him up. Give me good sportsmanlike. I don't want to take any points.
Come on, Jesse. Let's go now. Last round now. You messing around.
That's the final round. Give me good sportsmanlike contact. Okay, don't go.
Doing beautiful. Doing beautiful. Keep that jab with it. But listen, he's going to be desperate when you're throwing overhand right.
Yeah, you know how to do that. You know, he just walking around slapping, throwing some old bullshit punches.
Come on. Let's go, man. Let's go. You need to knock him out.
Watch your overhand right.
Your jab is working. Stop that jab.
And final round upcoming for Jesse Ferguson and Andrew Golota. And regardless of how badly embarrassed Ferguson may be by CompuBox numbers and by the competitive picture of what's happened in the fight, by making it to the last of 10 rounds, having taken the fight on about 72 hours notice, I think you have to say he's done his job. Harold, how do you have it through 9?
I tell you, I got Andrew Golota at least 11 points ahead. 9-0, 90-79. Andrew Golota. Jim, there's two flawless performances out there tonight. One by Andrew Golota and the other by referee Joe Cortez, who's doing a beautiful job keeping control of this fight. Golota really picking up the pace, trying to finish him in the 10th, but he's so far ahead. It's amazing. I tell you, it just shows us everything.
But I think also because he has fought in a more measured style, he has more left here at the end.
Well, one of the things,
and of course, he hasn't taken much punishment.
I mean, even
which always helps.
Even when he was fighting at the pinnacle of the division against Bowe, his trainer Roger Bloodworth acknowledged he didn't really know how to breathe in the ring. They've still been trying to teach him from that day forward how to breathe and keep his energy level somewhat constant in the ring. And obviously, he's doing much better in that regard.
And he's gotten a lot better in that regard. I'm highly impressed with the left and right movement tonight.
He's just a big, cat-quick athlete for a 240-pound heavyweight. There aren't too many people as gifted as Andrew Golota. Somebody hands me a note from behind. I don't even know where the note comes from, but the observation of somebody here at ringside is, well, he's fought himself out of a chance at Tyson anytime soon. Likely to be a popular observation after this performance by Golota.
What are they trying to say about Tyson?
Well, it may take time. I guess they're saying it'll take time.
Well, you know, Mike is trying to make money right now, and that's very understandable.
I just don't think he would want to rush in and take an unnecessary chance until he's gotten his faculties back together.
Against a guy who outweighs him by 20 pounds. Golota trying one more time to put the hurt on Jesse the Boogeyman Ferguson, but the Boogeyman has come in, taken his medicine, and he's going to be able to stand up for 10 rounds and say, oh, come on. He ain't nothing. He didn't knock me out. Polish crowd chanting in Polish on the upper deck. They would have loved to have seen a knockout, but they've seen a totally competent professional performance all the way, and Ferguson's going to finish this bout with blood flowing on both sides.
Not easy coming back from the humiliations that Andrew Golota has visited upon himself, and I think we should give him credit for making the effort.
Beautiful job. It's beautiful.
Harold, would you like to show us what a shutout looks like on the scorecard?
Jim, I think there's no question. I've got it 100-88, 10 rounds to nothing, Andrew Golota. You have to give Andrew Golota an extra point in round 5 because Joe took a point from him, and you have to give Andrew Golota an extra point in round 8 because he won it so big. That's a 10-8 round without a knockdown. So it's Golota easy.
You are a master of the obvious, Harold.
It was supposed to be Golota against Jimmy Thunder. Thunder tore an Achilles tendon earlier this week, and when properly diagnosed with the Achilles tendon tear as of Tuesday, he declared himself out of the bout. By Wednesday, late, Ferguson had been lined up as the opponent. Thursday, Golota arrived here and was told that he was fighting Jesse Ferguson instead of Jimmy Thunder. At that point, Golota locked himself in a room, and Larry Merchant tells us he learned that Golota wept about the unexpected circumstance he was facing. He was that freaked out at the notion of having to fight Jesse the Boogeyman Ferguson instead of Jimmy Thunder. So what does he do? He goes out and shuts him out. Let's go up to Michael Buffer for the official particulars.
From Bally's Park Place, Atlantic City, we go to the Budweiser scorecards. Hilton Whitaker and John Potteray both scored about 100-89. Gene Williams has it 99-90 for the winner by unanimous decision, Andrew Golota. Jesse Ferguson of Philadelphia.
And final punch stat numbers. As we mentioned, the CompuBox wipeout. Golota more than doubling Ferguson's punch output, nearly quadrupling his connect output, and virtually doubling Ferguson in connect percentage. Jabs completely dominated by Golota. He's got one of the better jabs in the heavyweight division. So off of that, do you put Andrew Golota back in the pantheon of fighters who'll be looking for a chance to fight the winner of Holyfield Lewis? Certainly in terms of the quality of his performances, he might deserve that kind of consideration. Whether he's yet taken that seriously by promoters and by the boxing public, that remains to be seen. Still to come tonight, a look at another rising heavyweight, this one already unanimously anointed as the #3 man in the division behind Holyfield and Lewis. That'll be Michael Grant, and he's fighting against a former sparring partner named Ahmad Abdin as he comes back from a long layoff. Very quickly, Roy Jones, I mentioned the question of whether Golota filters into the mix now of possible opponents for the Holyfield-Lewis winner. You put him there?
Oh, yes, most definitely. He has quick hands. He has that huge frame for a heavyweight that we like to see. He has pretty good punching power, and he throws a lot of punches. He showed lateral movement tonight. He showed a lot of good things that makes for a good fight with any of the top 10 heavyweights right now.
All right.